Ever been on a date that seemed perfect but turned out to be a disaster? You're not alone. We've all had those experiences where we're sitting across from a person who appears to have stepped out of our dreams, only to realize later that they've actually stepped out of a horror movie. The laughter, the shared interests, the seemingly perfect chemistry, all lead us to believe we've hit the dating jackpot. But then, as the rose-tinted glasses begin to fade, we start noticing the cracks. Suddenly, the charming prince or princess seems more like a frog, and we're left wondering, how did I miss these signs? It can be a tough pill to swallow, but the truth is, no date is perfect. Each person has their quirks and flaws, and that's what makes them human. The key here is to discern between quirks and red flags, but don't worry, we're here to help you spot those red flags early on. First up on our list, they are just too perfect. Sounds strange, right? But let's delve a bit deeper into this. Imagine you're dating someone who seems to have no flaws. They're always on time, their hair is always perfect, they always say the right thing, and they never seem to have a bad day. Sounds dreamy, doesn't it? Well, it might just be a dream and not the good kind. You see, everyone has flaws, it's part of being human. So if your date seems too perfect, it might be a sign that they're not being genuine. Maybe they're putting on a facade, or even worse, they could be hiding something. You want to connect with a real person, not a carefully crafted character. So take off those rose-colored glasses and look for the flaws. They're there, I promise. Remember, no one is perfect, so if they seem too good to be true, they probably are. Next, they dodge the past like it's a dodgeball game. We've all got histories, right? But if your date is treating their past like a top-secret classified document, then warning bells should be ringing. Now, I'm not suggesting that they should spill every little detail on your first latte date, but if they consistently avoid discussing their past, it can be a red flag. Maybe they're not being honest, or perhaps they have something to hide. In the dating world, it's important to understand where a person comes from, what their experiences are, and how it has shaped them. It helps to build trust and intimacy. So if your date is more elusive than a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat when it comes to their history, it's a sign that they might not be ready for a serious commitment. A little mystery is good, but a complete blackout on their past, not so much. Third red flag, they don't respect your boundaries. Now, we've all come across that one person who just can't seem to grasp the concept of personal space, haven't we? It's like they're playing a game of how close can I get before it's creepy. Spoiler alert, it's already creepy. You see, boundaries are like invisible fences we put up to protect ourselves. When someone disregards these fences, it's like they're trespassing on your personal property. And that's a big no-no. It could be as simple as oversharing or as serious as not taking no for an answer. This is a red flag because it shows a lack of respect for you as an individual. If they can't respect your boundaries, how can they respect you in general? It's not just about respect, it's about understanding and empathy. Remember, boundaries are there for a reason, and they deserve to be respected. Fourth red flag, they're always cancelling plans. Now, we all have those moments when something urgent comes up, or we're not feeling well and we need to reschedule. But there's a big difference between occasional rescheduling and a chronic pattern of cancelling plans. It's like planning to watch the finale of your favorite show. You have your popcorn ready, you're comfy on the couch, and then, poof, the network decides to cancel the show. It's frustrating, right? Well, that's how it feels when someone you're dating keeps cancelling plans. This could be a sign that they're not taking the relationship seriously, or they're not as invested as you are. It's like trying to build a house of cards with someone who keeps sneezing. It's not going to work, is it? Remember, a relationship is a two-way street. It requires effort, commitment, and yes, showing up when you say you will. Consistency is key, and if they're not consistent, it might be time to reconsider. Fifth red flag, they're overly critical. Now, a bit of constructive criticism is healthy in any relationship. It's how we grow and improve. But when they start to nitpick everything you do, from the way you sip your coffee to how you tie your shoelaces, then Houston, we have a problem. It's not about the minor quirks they find adorable, but a systematic pattern of highlighting your flaws. That's a different ballgame, my friend. It's like living under a microscope. And trust me, that's no way to live. This constant criticism can be a sign of emotional abuse. It's their way of controlling you, making you feel less than you are. Remember, relationships should be uplifting, not a constant game of spot the mistake. It's about acceptance and understanding, not judgment. So if you find yourself with a partner who's more into playing Simon Cowell than being a supportive companion, it's time to reconsider. Everyone deserves to be with someone who appreciates them, not someone who constantly criticizes them. Alright, let's quickly recap our red flags, shall we? First off, we talked about the illusion of the perfect date. Remember, no one's perfect, and that's okay. If they seem too good to be true, they probably are. Don't fall for the fairy tale because real life isn't a Disney movie. Next, we discussed the red flag of someone who dodges talking about their past. We're not saying you should be an open book from date one, but if they're consistently avoiding certain topics, it might be a sign that there's something they're not telling you. The third red flag is when they disrespect your boundaries. Everyone has their own comfort zones and limits. If they're constantly pushing yours, it's not a sign of passion, it's a sign of disrespect. And respect is the bedrock of any healthy relationship. Then, we touched on the warning sign of the chronic canceller. Things come up, sure, but if they're always bailing on plans, it might be a sign that they're not as invested in the relationship as you are. Don't let anyone make you feel like a backup plan. Finally, we delved into the red flag of constant criticism. Constructive feedback is one thing, but if they're always picking at your flaws and never appreciating your strengths, it's not love, it's control. You deserve to be with someone who loves and accepts you for who you are, not who they want you to be. These red flags are important to recognize because they can save you a lot of heartache in the long run. They're not just minor quirks or personality traits, they're warning signs of potentially harmful behavior. Remember, your happiness and well-being should always come first. If you see these red flags, don't ignore them. Trust your gut and take care of yourself. Until next time, happy dating!